welcome to the Deep Dive. We take interesting sources, unpack them, and, well, pull out the key ideas for you. Today, we're getting into something that might just change how you think about money and time and what being, truly rich actually means. Yeah, we're going to challenge some pretty common ideas about financial success. Our deep dive today, it's based on some really powerful bits from a piece called Freedom, the Ultimate Wealth. And honestly, it makes you stop and reconsider your whole relationship with money, what rich even is. So our mission here, to explore this argument, why buying freedom is better than buying luxury. Okay, let's unpack this, because it really does push against a lot of our usual assumptions about success.
It's a fascinating angle, isn't it? And what gets me is that it's not just about money, like dollars and cents. It's really more fundamental. And the shift in how we value our actual lives. It's about success, yeah, but maybe measured differently, like living life more on your own terms.
Totally. Let's start with the usual picture. What pops into most people's heads when they hear wealth? It's almost always things, right? The flashy car, the expensive watch, maybe those amazing vacations you see online, or that huge, impressive house up on the hill. And let's be real, that stuff is shiny, it makes noise, it definitely gets attention.
It does. They're symbols, aren't they? Symbols of having made it. But what's so interesting here is how the source just tackles that head on. It says, pretty bluntly, real wealth isn't about how much stuff you can buy. Instead, the argument is real wealth is about freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of choice, freedom to live life on your terms.
That really makes you pause.
It does. And it raises this big question, like, what if we've been looking at wealth all wrong, through the wrong lens entirely? Maybe chasing the stuff actually distracts us from what really matters for well-being.
So it makes you think, right? What's your definition? Is it the pile of possessions? Or is it more about maybe the quiet power of having control over your day, your decisions, your path?
Where you put that focus, that dictates everything. Where your time goes, where your money goes.
Yeah. If you're always chasing the next shiny object, are you actually building something deep, something that feels like real wealth to you?
It forces you to kind of reassess your financial why. Why are you earning this money? Is it just to look good, keep up? Or is it to build a life where you call the shots more often than not?
Right.
When you shift that focus from just getting stuff to actually buying freedom strategically. Well, the whole game changes. It becomes about building autonomy, not just assets.
Okay, so if true wealth is freedom, what about the things we buy thinking they represent wealth? This is where the source gets really provocative. It calls luxury a trap, a golden chain. I mean, what does that actually mean for us day to day? How can luxury be a trap? We usually think of it as the opposite, right? As freedom.
Yeah, it flips the script. But the source gives clear examples. Think about it. That amazing car. Suddenly you're chained to the monthly payment. That dream house, the big one, boom, the 30-year mortgage.
Right.
And it's not just the debt itself. It's the situation it creates, where, as the source puts it, your money isn't working for you, you're working for it. That's what it calls being trapped in what I call the luxury prison.
Wow, luxury prison. That's a strong image.
It is, and it highlights how chasing luxury can actually, maybe ironically, shrink your options, not expand them. The initial buzz wears off, but the payments, the upkeep, the insurance, that stuff sticks around. It can feel like you're on a treadmill, running faster just to keep up with the lifestyle you've bought into.
I think people can relate to that feeling even on a smaller scale. That golden chain idea. Maybe it's not a supercar, but maybe it's subscriptions you don't use or just feeling squeezed by commitments you made. Have you ever felt that yourself?
Yeah.
That sense of being chained by your stuff or your bills.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes the chains aren't even the obvious payments. There's the mental load too, right?
Yeah.
Keeping up appearances, worrying about losing things, needing the next upgrade.
Yeah, the pressure.
Exactly. The source isn't saying don't have nice things. It's more about awareness. When does the thing start owning you? It's about the true cost, not just dollars, but lost freedom, lost peace of mind. That constant need to earn more can mean you have less control over your most valuable thing, your time.
Okay, so that's the trap. But what's the alternative look like in practice? We've been told for so long, more stuff equals more freedom. It's kind of baked in. So how do you actually consciously buy freedom instead? What does that look like?
The source paints a pretty compelling picture here. It says, imagine having enough income from investments or businesses that you don't have to clock in anywhere. Just picture that. Or waking up on a Wednesday deciding you don't feel like working and not having to. That's not about being lazy. It's about choice.
Right, the autonomy.
Yeah, the ability to spend time with your family, travel, learn, train, create. And the key part, Not because it's a holiday, not because it's scheduled, but because you own your time.
Hmm.
That, the source says very clearly, that's wealth.
Wow. Just take a second and visualize that. Waking up any day and choosing, not out of obligation, but because you actually can. Think about the impact on your stress, your relationships, your creativity. It's huge.
It really is. It reframes free time completely.
It becomes your default state, almost, not something you squeeze in.
That's a profound shift. It's not just financial independence, it feels like. Well, real freedom. And the way you get there, according to this thinking, is shifting from buying things that lose value liabilities to acquiring assets that generate income.
Like passive income sources.
Exactly. Things like dividend stocks, maybe rental properties, businesses that don't require your constant presence, so your money starts working for you, buying back your time.
Instead of the other way around.
Precisely. It lets you design your life proactively, not just react to demands.
Okay, that makes sense intellectually. But to really hit it home, the source uses this fantastic comparison. It says, the man in the Lamborghini who still has to wake up at 6 a.m. to beg his boss for a raise is poorer than the man in a Toyota who never has to answer to anybody. That just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it?
It really does. It cuts right through the surface appearances.
It forces you to look past the shiny exterior.
Yeah, because the guy in the fancy car, he might look successful, but he's still dependent on the job, the boss, the whole system keeping that lifestyle afloat. His luxury is, you could say, conditional.
Whereas the guy in the Toyota,
He might not look as flashy, but he's achieved something maybe more valuable: sovereignty, control over his time, his choices. He doesn't need anyone's permission because he's built a life on his own terms. And this is where the source draws that really clear line: luxury is borrowed, freedom is owned.
borrowed versus owned. That's powerful.
It's not just words. It defines their actual control. Borrowed luxury feels, well, fragile maybe, dependent on things staying the same. Owned freedom, though, that feels solid. Built intentionally, it's yours.
So the real measure of wealth isn't what people see, it's the underlying freedom you possess. It completely reframes who we think of as rich. It's less about the display, more about the autonomy.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from external validation, what others think, to internal control, what you can actually do with your life. It's about the resilience of your position. Can it withstand change? Does it depend on factors outside your control? Owned freedom is built to last.
Okay, but here's a twist the source throws in, and it seems kind of backward at first, it claims.
Yeah.
Once you buy freedom first, luxury eventually comes anyway. How does that work? Usually we think you chase the luxury hoping freedom follows. This flips it.
Right. It does sound counterintuitive, but there is a logic to it. The source explains it like this. Because when you own your time, when you own your mind, you'll naturally build the wealth to afford luxury if you want it.
Ah, okay. So earning your time frees up mental space, maybe, and capital.
Exactly. You're not pouring energy and money into just maintaining a certain image or servicing debt for fancy things. That frees you up to invest smarter, maybe start a business you care about, make decisions focused on long-term growth, not just immediate gratification.
So wealth builds more naturally.
That seems to be the idea. Wealth becomes a byproduct of having control over your time and focus. And then, if you still want the luxury items, you can afford them. But the crucial difference is...
You're not a slave to them.
Precisely. You won't be a slave to it. Luxury becomes an option, something you choose from a position of strength, not something driving your every move.
It goes from being the master to just another choice.
It's enjoyed differently then, too, from a place of abundance, not striving.
So, thinking about our own goals, our financial plans, this really changes the approach, doesn't it? It suggests we stop focusing on buying the next thing just to look wealthy, and instead build the foundation first, the freedom foundation. Then the luxury can come later, if you even still want it then, without the pressure. It's about flipping the power dynamic.
Absolutely. It becomes a virtuous cycle. Owning your time lets you build more wealth, which gives you more options, including luxury, but without the chains attached. It changes your whole emotional connection to money and stuff from a chase to a choice. That's a huge internal shift.
So wrapping this up, this whole deep dive points towards a big mindset shift. The source basically says, stop asking the old question. What can I buy to look rich?
Yeah, ditch that question and replace it with a much more powerful one. What can I buy to never have to ask permission again?
That's good.
That, the source argues, is the core of the freedom mindset.
Hmm.
It frames every decision spending, saving, investing around gaining autonomy.
Building a life where your time is yours.
Exactly. How can this dollar get me closer to a point where I don't need someone else's okay to live my life? It's a powerful filter for financial choices.
Definitely something to carry with you. That question, next time you're thinking about a big purchase or even a small one, just pause and ask, is this buying me luxury or is it buying me freedom? Is it about looking rich or being free?
A compass, like you said.
So today we dove into freedom, the ultimate wealth. We explored this really key difference between chasing luxury and truly prioritizing owning your time, your choices, seeing that as the ultimate wealth. It's a view that definitely challenges the status quo on financial success.
And maybe one last thought to leave you with, building on that. If freedom is owned and luxury is borrowed, think about this. What's one small, deliberate step you could take, maybe even today? Just one thing to start reclaiming a little piece of that owned freedom. Could be tiny shifting one's spending habit, setting up a small automatic saving. Knowing that small step might be the start of paving the way towards that genuine, unchained luxury later on, if you still want it. It's just about starting that journey towards real control.
A fantastic thought to ponder. Start small, build freedom. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. Keep thinking about these ideas. We'll catch you next time.